Human beings have always asked the same question: what is the meaning of life? Religions were built around it. Philosophies were born from it. Entire civilizations organized themselves around the promise that life, somehow, must make sense. But one young philosopher challenged this assumption at its root. Carlo Michelstaedter believed that meaning itself is not humanity's salvation. It is its greatest illusion. Michelstaedter argued that the human obsession with meaning is not a sign of wisdom, but of fear. Life, as it is given, is unstable, finite, and uncertain. There are no guarantees, no built-in purpose, no cosmic explanation waiting to be discovered. For most people, this reality is unbearable. And so, instead of facing it directly, they invent meaning to protect themselves from it. Meaning becomes a psychological refuge dot from an early age. Individuals are taught that life must have a reason. Suffering must serve a purpose. Effort must lead somewhere. Pain must be justified. The idea that life could exist without meaning feels frightening, even offensive. Yet Michelstaedter insisted that this insistence on meaning is precisely what prevents people from truly living. He believed that meaning functions as a delay mechanism, rather than engaging fully with the present moment. People live for what life is supposed to become. Meaning is always projected into the future. When I succeed, when I find love, when I achieve stability, when I understand myself, when everything finally makes sense. Life is endured now so that meaning can arrive later, but later never comes. Michelstaedter saw this as the core illusion of human existence. Meaning is not discovered. It is constructed. And once constructed, it becomes something people serve rather than question. They shape their lives around narratives of purpose, convincing themselves that existence must be justified by outcomes. This is what Michelstaedter called rhetoric. Rhetoric, in his philosophy, is not merely empty speech. It is the entire system of explanations humans use to make life tolerable. Meaning, morality, progress, success, these are rhetorical tools. They allow people to live with uncertainty without facing it directly. Meaning does not reveal truth. It softens reality. According to Michelstaedter, a life driven by meaning is a life that cannot stand on its own. It always needs validation from something else. The present moment is never sufficient. It must be explained, improved, redeemed, or justified by a larger narrative. This is why people who have meaning often feel restless. Even when goals are achieved, satisfaction fades quickly. Meaning demands continuation. Once one purpose is fulfilled, another must replace it. The illusion must be maintained. A meaningful life is never completed. It is always becoming something else. Michelstaedter believed society depends on this illusion. Meaning keeps people obedient, productive, and hopeful. It encourages sacrifice, endurance, and patience. It tells individuals that their suffering matters because it contributes to something greater. In doing so, it keeps them from asking a dangerous question. What if life needs no justification at all? At the heart of the meaning illusion lies fear of death. Mortality threatens every narrative humans construct. Meaning promises symbolic immortality through legacy, achievement, memory, or contribution. By attaching themselves to meaning, people attempt to escape the finality of death. They do not want life to simply end. They want it to mean something. Michelstaedter believed this desire is understandable but fatal, because the more people cling to meaning, the more they postpone life itself. They stop living in the present and begin living for an idea. Existence becomes secondary to explanation. Life becomes something to be defended rather than experienced. Against this obsession with meaning, Michelstaedter placed a radical alternative living without illusion. What that demands, and why most people cannot accept it, is what we explore next. For Carlo Michelstaedter, the greatest illusion humanity has ever created is the belief that life must mean something in order to be lived. He argued that meaning is not a requirement for existence. It is a distraction from it. To live without meaning is not to live without value. It is to live without justification. Michelstaedter called this way of existing persuasion. Persuasion is not a belief system and not a goal. It is a condition in which the individual no longer demands that life explain itself. A persuaded person does not ask what life is for. They accept life as it is finite, unstable, and exposed, and take responsibility for it in the present moment. This acceptance is deeply unsettling. Without meaning, there is no narrative to hide behind. Suffering has no guaranteed purpose. Effort has no promised reward. Death offers no compensation. Life is no longer protected by explanations. It must be faced directly. Michelstaedter never claimed this was easy. On the contrary, he believed most people are psychologically incapable of enduring a life without meaning. Meaning offers comfort. It transforms chaos into story. It turns uncertainty into direction. Without it, the individual stands alone before existence. This is why meaning persists. People return to it again and again because it soothes anxiety. It gives pain a reason and loss a narrative. Michelstaedter did not deny its usefulness. He denied its truth. Something can be necessary for survival and still be false. Persuasion, by contrast, offers no comfort, but it offers honesty. To live persuasively means to stop asking life to justify itself. It means recognizing that existence does not owe us explanation, happiness, or purpose. Life is lived now or not at all. The present moment is not a bridge to meaning. It is the only reality there is. This does not lead to happiness. Happiness is itself a meaning-based promise, a future emotional state dependent on conditions. Persuasion does not promise fulfillment. It demands awareness. Michelstaedter believed this awareness comes at a cost. The individual who abandons meaning loses the protection of illusion. They may feel isolated, misunderstood, and exposed. Society is built on shared meanings. To step outside them is to step into solitude. This is why persuasion is rare, and why most people choose meaning instead. There is no compromise in Michelstaedter's philosophy. Meaning and truth cannot coexist. To cling to meaning is to soften reality. To abandon meaning is to face it without defense. Michelstaedter offered no middle path, no balanced solution. His philosophy is not guidance, it is confrontation. In the modern world, his ideas feel even more disturbing. People are encouraged to find their purpose, build meaning, and justify their lives through productivity and impact. Meaning has become a moral obligation. Yet anxiety, emptiness, and dissatisfaction persist. Michelstaedter would say, this is because meaning was never the solution. The most unsettling question his philosophy leaves us with is simple. If meaning is an illusion, what remains? His answer is equally unsettling life itself. Unprotected, unexplained, unjustified. Few are willing to accept that. And that is why, according to Michelstaedter, meaning remains humanity's most comforting and most dangerous illusion.